Hello, welcome to the Triple C Suite. I'm your host, Joe Cleary. I'm an Associate Professor of Construction Management here at Cal Poly. I'm also the Director of the California Center of Construction Education. And we're here today to continue our Meet the Ambassador series. And we've got with us Hudson and Emilio. And if you guys wouldn't mind taking a minute to introduce yourselves to the audience.
Yeah, my name's Emilio Manzano. I'm a current second year, majoring in construction management, of course, and my job for the CCCE right now is the info session liaison.
My name's Hudson Straub. I'm also a second year in construction management, and my future job for the CCCE will be on the weekly newsletter.
All right, great. Well, thank you for joining us today. We're going to get to know both of you a little bit better, your jobs at the CCCE, and maybe a little bit about what your future plans are. So why don't we start with, why don't we dive into a little more about what each of you do. So Emilio, what have you been working on?
Yeah, so I mentioned I'm the info session liaison, and basically my role throughout the year is to help create these info sessions for these construction companies that are coming, giving students opportunities. So mainly I'm communicating with them, sending emails, using software like GiveButter, Microsoft Bookings to help set up interviews. And right now in the year, I am working on Eventbrite and basically Eventbrite for next year and CMAX stuff. So right now it's kind of calmed down towards the bit. It is the last week currently right now, so I'm just grateful for the opportunity, and I've had a great time this year.
And so for those that don't know, what is an info session?
So an info session is basically a company comes in here and they give a little presentation about their company and their opportunities. Usually they're looking for an intern or a job opportunity. And yeah, it's a great opportunity for students, and there's food there. So that's the best part really at the end of the day.
That's the best part. Well, how many did we do in the last academic school year? So 25, 26?
We did I think it was about 103.
103, awesome.
Yeah.
And next year we're going to semesters, and so do you know how many we've got next year?
I think the plan is that there's about 200 and something open spots. So there's a lot of opportunity for semesters. Yeah,
and with that, we'll be starting classes about a month earlier, so there's opportunities earlier in the year rather than now we're kind of, I think, the last school still in class. So next year that'll be kind of on everybody else's schedule. Mm-hmm. So Hudson, you've just joined us at the CCCE. So how long you been working here?
I mean, I kind of haven't started work technically. I've been training a little bit, just getting to learn what I will be doing for next year. But I mean, as far as I know, it'll be mainly the weekly newsletter, which will be just kind of telling every student in the CM department about upcoming events within the department, whether it's scholarship opportunities or just general information that they need to know that's relevant. And that's the main thing I'll be working on. And something else I'll be doing is updating the website where you get all the ambassador descriptions. So I'll be writing about myself on the website, which will be fun.
Hudson, as a new hire, you're going to talk about yourself in the third person, or what? You're going to,
A little bit.
Well, at least you get a chance to foreshadow, right, what'll be on the web here on the podcast. So, So with that, why don't you tell us a little bit about, how you found the CCCE and why you wanted to work here?
So I'll start. The main way I found out about the CCCE is through Emilio. We're roommates this year, and we will be next year as well. But just kind of spending time around him and dropping by and talking to the different CCCE ambassadors and kind of learning what they do and how they interact with companies got me just really interested in this unique opportunity where we can learn to develop both professionally and just kind of as a person. Being able to spend a lot of time with both professionals and just so many other students to be able to develop. And I thought it was a really awesome opportunity, and it seemed like a lot of fun. And so that's why I'm here.
That's great. And we're happy to have you. Emilio, well, thank you for, you don't get a recruiting bonus, but, thank you for bringing Hudson in. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how you found the CCCE?
Yeah, so mainly last year, I was really just trying to get involved within the CM department, and I stumbled across this opportunity. Shout out to BNAC. I talked to him, and he was like, "Oh yeah, CCCE has a great opportunity." So I reached out to Kelsey. She got back to me. I applied, and I got here. And let's just say it's been a wonderful ride.
Awesome. Well, it's great to have you with us. We appreciate all the work that you do for the CCCE, and I know, Hudson, you're kind of new, so you don't have much perspective. But so, Emilio, tell us, what was so far year one? What's your biggest memory?
My biggest memory was definitely the conference, the ASC conference we had. It was kind of stressful, all the setup. I know we were all stressed, but I just know we had a great time there. And I remember that little after party we had out by the rec on the side.
Oh yeah,
I won't forget that. We had
Brass
a
Mash
great time.
was they were entertaining the crowd. We had well, for those that don't know, we hosted the ASC International Conference this year. It's construction educators from around the world came in and had an opportunity to share thoughts and ideas. We also ended with a banquet where Al Hauk, our former, emeritized department head, received a Lifetime Achievement Award. And once we got done with all of the, the eating and the awards and the formal program, Brass Mash entertained us out there at the rec pool deck, which was quite the evening. And you definitely brought the dancing shoes.
Yeah, I was the man on the floor. But in general though, the conference, it was like my first ever conference that I've been at. So it's just that whole experience working there and seeing all the people.
Yep,
that were
they're
involved.
all just like that.
Yeah. I remember because I was talking with Brian. He was like, "Yeah, I'm kind of sick of these conferences, going to these conferences every year, so not as cool."
Well, it depends. It depends where you're going and what the event is.
It's true.
When it's a home game, right, I think there's a lot more work in preparation because we're inviting everyone into our school, into our house. But, going, it depends where they're at. Sometimes there's a lot of common conference venues, but for us, getting in and out of San Luis Obispo is not always the easiest for flights, so it depends where it is, right? But and I think that has travel destination or travel distance has a lot to do with your enjoyment value of a conference.
This is true.
So, as we continue our conversation, why don't we get to know a little bit about what are your plans for this summer?
So this summer, I will be interning with Clark Construction in Malibu, focusing on creating the rec center at Pepperdine University. And this internship is really my first internship. I did an intern last year, so I'm really excited for this opportunity just to get my first ever hands-on feel on what it's like to be on construction site. I'm going to be both on the field and in the office, so I think it's going to be a wonderful opportunity. I'm real excited for it.
Yeah, and Malibu's not too bad.
Yeah,
that's a nice place to spend the summer.
Yeah.
Hudson, what about you?
For me, I will also be having my first internship with Plant Construction. They're based in San Francisco. I hope to be working in the East Bay with them. I'm still not entirely sure where I'll be working yet, but I'm super excited. They seem like awesome people to be working with, and just all the brief time I've spent with them, it's been amazing so far, but I'm super excited to be able to learn a lot.
That's great. Do you know what project you're going to be working on, or do you know yet?
I don't know yet what project I'll be working on, but I'll be both on and off site, which I'm super excited about.
Cool. Well, both of those sound like great opportunities, and so not having an internship your first year, right? You're definitely gonna learn a lot. What are your thoughts on you guys got a couple of years, but what are your plans for after graduation?
Whoa. Whoa. I've never really thought about graduation yet, but I think about it. It's been on my mind of what I want to do, where I want to work. Me, I'm from out of state, I'm from Texas, so I'm still a little, unsure if I want to stay in California, move to Texas, or go out to another state and work, because I know Texas is a great opportunity, lots of growing cities out there, a lot of data centers out there. So it's been on my mind, but I just know I want to work probably for a mid-sized company at the moment, really have that feel of you're not just a number at the end of the day, which, I'm not trying to shame those people who are working for big GCs, but I'm just saying I think that's just my perspective on it. But I try to think about that every now and then.
Yeah, and your first internship is going to give you an opportunity to kind of determine, a starting point and kind of where to go from there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you've got a couple of years to make that decision. I'm not trying to rush you out the door yet, right? You got to finish your degree first. But it is always interesting to see kind of what the trajectory is and what your thoughts are at this point versus, in a couple of years we'll sit down again and see what your thoughts are as you're about to head out the door.
Yeah.
So I guess the big transition though is semesters, right? Coming up next year, and so. With you already mentioned one of the valuable aspects is, we're going to be able to offer so many more info sessions. So we'll have more companies that are able to meet with the students on campus, kind of in the highly desirable spots. This year we were, relatively limited, even though we mostly sold out. And next summer we'll be kind of on the same schedule as everyone else, because I'm sure on both of your jobs you've got interns from other universities that have been working for a couple of weeks already.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, what are your thoughts on semesters?
I mean, I'll start us off. My high school was semester system. I'm sure it's mostly the same with everyone from California at least. But here, I guess I'll start with coming to the quarter system first. When I first started at Cal Poly, personally, I kind of liked it. It was definitely more intense than the semester system. It feels like classes are sort of compressed, so it feels like you're always learning and that there's not a whole lot of downtime. But I think the biggest, downside of the quarter system is that almost everyone I know is on the semester system that goes to different schools. So I guess it'll be nice to finally catch up, besides the shorter summer, of course. But, the semester system brings a lot of good things, like the 5-week winter break, which I'm, very excited for, even though it's still a long ways away. But I think it's also good that the recruiting opportunities will start sooner. For the quarter system, we started after everybody. So when companies started recruiting, when our school started, they have already looked at people from other schools, and so we'll no longer be, slightly behind on that aspect. But I think overall it'll take some getting used to for both students and teachers, but I think it'll all work out.
Yeah, I'd say it's going to be a change, of course. We love quarter system. We love poly time, RP poly time. But I'm excited for it. Like Hudson mentioned, I'm excited for the longer winter break. I'm excited for the longer summer, more working time for internships. But yeah, it's just going to be a little different. I'm not, right now, with registration and all this other stuff about semester change, it's been a bit of a pain. So just hearing the word semester system right now, it's just giving me chills. But I'm excited. I think I'm excited. It's gonna be different, of course, but I'm willing to live up to it.
Yeah, I think, the education will be, equivalent or better, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to get shorted any. It's just a different academic calendar. I appreciate, Hudson, that you pointed out that it's a longer winter break. The best part about a different school calendar is that we have more breaks. You're not wrong. But I think, the transition, I think for a lot of people, it's just been the anxiety around the fact that it will be something different. Mm-hmm. And that's been hard, I think, for most people to grasp, because I think the answers around, getting registered for classes and what that schedule is going to look like and feel like it's easy to see it on paper, but it's hard to understand what, week 11 is going to feel like when you still have a couple more weeks to go, when you're used to being done at that point. But you mentioned the RIP poly time. For those of you people that aren't from Cal Poly, what's poly time?
So poly time, we start on the 10th. So typically other universities, or pretty much every single university, you would start class at 6 p.m. We start at class at 6:10 p.m. and it would end at 7. Rather now we're gonna have the normal 6 p.m. to 6:50. So yeah, it's unfortunate. I just know a whole bunch of people are going to be late that first week of school.
Well, and if you're 10 minutes late, you'll be legitimately late,
yes.
Not like I'm on poly time. But at least on my side, I'm excited for the change, because the world starts on the hour, right? All of the administrative meetings start on the hour. So if you're teaching a class that gets out on the hour, I've got to either end a little quickly or sprint across campus from one place to another. And I think having all of both the academics and the administrative part and the industry, the world, starting on the hour is going to be a little more common. When I was a young, early career, project engineer, we would, talk about different meeting times, and one of my, mentors at the time was like, you always start a meeting on the hour, because if you started at any other time, people are guaranteed to be late. But at least if you started on the hour, people will likely be on time. And so I didn't really quite, at the time, understand what they meant, because to me, early's on time, on time is late, and late you're fired. So, it was you were always going to be early, but so that as we've evolved, college students are always a little bit late, and then being at 10 after, that means we start at, I don't know, what, quarter after, 20 after? What time do you roll in?
Yeah. Jade rolls in pretty most of the time.
Right? So, start, at least if we're starting on the hour, by 10 after, we should be rolling, right? Most people will be here. I think it's worse early in the morning. Those 8 a.m.s, they're tough for you guys.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, so I want to talk a little bit about, we talked about kind of what are your roles and how you found CCCE. So what are your kind of plans or your goals within your position, over the next couple of years? I mean, Hudson, I know you're new, so your goals are just to continue to be employed and not get fired. But like, have you've done some onboarding, and we've done some training. So even with a little bit of introduction, you've been a consumer of the information, for a couple of years. So kind of, what are your thoughts? What you hope to accomplish over the next year and two?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess what I hope to accomplish is, I think there's so much value in the newsletter that I think a lot of students kind of miss in a way. Because I know, like, not everyone reads it, right? Because it's just a weekly newsletter that gets sent out. But I would like to be able to make students think that it's something that they want to read, instead of just, it's something that gets sent out every week. Because all the opportunities in it, whether it be like scholarships to help with school, or just say events like the CM barbecue that'll be happening tomorrow, I think it'll just be awesome if I can get more students to read it whenever it comes out every week. But so that's my main goal right now.
Improve the readership. Well, that's cool. All right, Emilio, what about you?
I mean, my goal is just to do everything right. Do everything. Because honestly, for me, if I do something wrong, then it's going to be a big issue. But really, I think it's cool that I'm just like the first face, the first name these companies see. I'm reaching out to them about these opportunities and stuff about the info sessions. They come to me and they ask me all these questions. So, I want to be there to be able to help, whether that be students, whether that be companies, whether that be anyone in general. I'm here to help, and I mean, I think that's the goal of like all of us as ambassadors and faculty, right? We're here to help. But yeah, I'd just say my goal is to make sure info sessions are successful, make sure they're like well put together, because sometimes some can be a little not as on par as to others, which, like, for example, bringing out some good food, like some sandwich places out there is pretty good. And I don't want to say names, but yeah, some of those sandwich places are good. Bringing in the swag, just making the info session more engaging too. I think it's good to put that out there, which I think I need to work on too, is make sure these info sessions are really engaging, because that's what the students are there for. Because a good info session can make a difference in comparison to a bad one.
Right, and so an info session is an opportunity essentially for a company to come in and showcase their capabilities and what it's like to work for them to recruit students. Because right now we've continued to have over 100% placement, and we have demand beyond what we can fulfill with our graduates. So it's a great opportunity for students to have that much demand in the industry with kind of a worker shortage, so to speak. And so when companies come in, right, to do their info sessions, what do you refer them to in terms of like what makes a good info session?
Yeah, we do have a great recruitment page we've been working on. We've actually been improving on it recently, which has been my task. But
recruit the recruiters.
Recruit
right?
the recruiters, yeah. But like I mentioned, bringing in some food. Students love food. Sometimes they even go for just the food, but hopefully that's not always the case.
Well, I'm sure there's plenty that go for just the food.
Just the food, but the food will get a lot more people. Again, just really making that demonstration more engaging.
What's the most popular food?
High Street Deli, Firestone Grill. Those are my two favorites, I think. But
Burritos too.
Burritos. Chipotle, G Brothers, Mr. Pickles. Yeah, those are some great options.
Shout out. Now we're not endorsing any of these, and none of these are sponsors yet. But if you want to throw some food our way, we'd be happy to do a taste challenge. But
it out there.
But those are all great student-centered foods, right? And so, in addition to just feeding people, right? What helps with engagement? I mean, beyond kind of the newsletter is going to help direct students. We've got kind of social media that helps direct students and let them know that something is there. But what is it that creates kind of the awareness and engagement that I think makes those successful?
Yeah, I'd say it's just the info. So typically, how I see it is, at least because I've been to multiple info sessions before, and I can recognize when one makes a good one, when makes a bad one. I'd say the good ones are very, very interactive. They want you to ask questions as students. They want you to ask them the question because they want to learn more about. They want to hear like inquisitive students. They want students to really just know about them. They want students because that's what it's about, right? These companies, they're looking for future, of course, interns, but interns leads to employers. So they really want to understand their employers and, really demonstrate their culture and just, I think a very great culture in a company. I mean, a lot of these companies focus on the culture, and I think it's really about the culture at the end of the day. It's about that team chemistry. It's all about the people within the companies. And yeah, I'd say that's what leads to a successful info session. Just really mainly being yourself and, letting loose. It's not always about the uptight and the professionalism of the industry. It's, it's just, we're just people at the end of the day.
Right. I mean, construction is a people business, and so trying to find the right fit is generally, I think, what most students are looking for, which is the same with the companies, right? Trying to find students that are going to fit with their culture or improve their culture, right? You're not looking for anchors, you're looking for sales type of thing. So did you find your internships at info sessions or at the career fair, or how did you come across your opportunities?
I did find my internship through an info session, Clark Construction. Shout out to them.
I personally found my internship through a career fair, but I also did look at many companies during info sessions and interviewed with many of them. But I would also like to add something on to what makes an info session, I guess, great. And I found, at least my number one thing is it's all about engaging the students, right? In the presentation and just asking questions like, oh, when were we founded, and then giving a prize for that. That's great. But I think the best thing a company can do is just kind of get students to interact on like almost a project level. Like my favorite info session that I've been to, I'm not gonna name names, but they gave us the choice of like getting the regular company presentation, go through all the slides, or they would like kind of frame everything about the most recent project that they did and like kind of have students answer questions about it and like try to have some of the students problem solve some of the issues they came up with on the project. And I thought that one was the best info session I went to, and it had the most student engagement for sure. But
that's awesome. Yeah, well, great to feedback from two students, right? That like this is the audience for most of the info sessions, and so based on you both have internships. How many different interviews did you go to get your internship?
I think for me it was 7 interviews.
7?
7, I think.
That's good practice.
Yeah.
Right? Hudson, about you?
I think I had, give or take, 10 interviews in total.
Nice. So then you had some offers and you had to make some decisions.
Yeah.
What was the weirdest interview question or like the most off the wall interview question you weren't prepared for?
I mean, I feel like I haven't really been asked many weird interview questions. I guess the most unique one was when they just put a problem out in front of me and they're like, all right, here are the details, solve it. And then that's what I had to work through. But like in terms of just a random question, I always love the fun questions that are like, what animal would you be if you were an animal,
What's your spirit animal? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so what was your answer?
Zebra.
Zebra. Why a zebra?
Just because it was my childhood plushie was a zebra, and that's the answer.
Solid. I mean, good reasoning there. I was just not expecting
They also look
zebra.
rad.
People are, always it's like lion, tiger, wolf, eagle, shark. That's. I wasn't expecting
but
zebra.
Lions are just big cats, but zebras are rad horses.
So are zebras white with black stripes or black with white stripes?
That's a great question. It might change on the zebra.
Might change on the
I
zebra.
feel like you'd have to shave them to find out.
We have zebras, not here, but up the one at Hearst Castle. There's apparently there's zebras
really?
out that graze out on the
Wild zebras.
Yeah. Well, I think they were
Maybe not wild.
I think they weren't wild. I mean, I think Hearst had some zebras that eventually are now like just out grazing on the.
Right.
But yeah.
Gotta check them out.
Yeah. What about you? You got a strange interview question?
I think I've asked like what kind of color you think you give off, from what I recall. Maybe it wasn't like an interview for a company, but I remember being interrogated about this before somewhere.
What kind of color you emit?
Color do you emit? And I think I recall saying like yellow. I think I recall saying yellow energy. Like yellow.
Yellow. What was the reasoning behind a yellow?
I just feel, I feel like me. I'm just very like out there. I kind of just. I don't know. I can't really describe it.
Warm and mellow?
Warm, yeah. I think I'm warm. Easygoing. I think that's why I said yellow. I think that's why I said why.
Or you were on the spot and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, the walls are yellow. Yellow sounds good, right?
Maybe it was that. I think the ceiling might have been yellow or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I've had some strange ones. I think, I was asked one time how many basketballs would fit in the room, right? And so, of course, first got to ask, are they inflated or not, right? Like that's but I think they're looking at your thought process. There's definitely been some interesting questions over the years, but I always am kind of excited to hear what the new interesting questions are, right? Things that it's not a right or wrong answer, things that you might not have been prepared to come up with. So it's good to know.
Now that you bring up that basketball example, I was asked pretty much the same thing, but with ping pong balls in a plane.
Ping pong balls in an airplane?
Yeah, how many ping pong balls can fit in an airplane?
How many?
What type of airplane?
Depends.
What type of airplane? What type of ping pong ball? Yeah.
Yeah, like the amount of ping pong balls you could fit in a Cessna would probably be a bit different from a 737, but
Absolutely. I mean, the size of the aircraft would definitely make a difference.
like you throw them in the fuselage too. Like, is it a loaded airplane? Are there people in it?
Is there people in it? Yes. Is it? How many people are displaced by golf balls? Right? Like, do they have to sit in first class or can they be in coach? Right? What is the? Yeah. So, a lot of interesting questions. Our audience wants to know. So, as we continue our conversation, well, thank you for joining us today, talking about a little bit about the CCCE, talking about your roles and what you hope to accomplish. Why don't we, before we go, I've been kind of asking everybody, what is you have a hidden talent?
Hidden talent? Ooh.
Hidden talent or interesting fact?
Interesting fact. Let's go with interesting fact. I like salsa dancing a lot. Recently, I've been injured, my ankle, so I haven't been going really. But this year, I've been getting into salsa dancing, and it's been my new hobby. I'd say I'm getting pretty good at it, and I'm proud of myself.
Keep practicing.
Yeah.
One day you'll be dancing with the stars, right?
Dancing with the stars, exactly.
I mean, my I guess talent or interest isn't too similar. We're both injured, unfortunately.
How did you both get injured?
My
no.
left shoulder's injured, but different story. But I guess
these are not workplace-related accidents.
no.
These are totally on your own. I mean,
No.
these are just
On my own, all right.
the carnage of being a college student. Maybe I don't. Yeah.
No, for me, I slipped over winter break, so not quite a grand story to put with it. I got to figure out something to tell people.
Oh yeah.
But I guess a weird talent or interesting fact about me is I know too much about tungsten cubes.
This is so true. This guy loves tungsten cubes.
Lay a fact on me. What about tungsten cubes?
Well, I'll start with tungsten in general. On the periodic table, it's represented by W, which stands for wolfram, which is its original name, I believe, in a Nordic country up there. But yeah, that's the name of tungsten. And you can buy a 6-inch tungsten cube, which means 6 inches by 6 inches by 6 inches. It's very large. I would not be able to pick it up for only $10,000.
I have so many questions now, but I don't think we have time for this week's segment of Tungsten and You. So, but I think this is where we're going to have to probably wrap it up. But thank you both for joining us on the Triple C Suite. We hope to see you next time, and thanks for being here.
Of course.
Thank you.